Hey, hello, and welcome to this new edition of Guitar Chat. We are already in the midst of the summer. At least here in Spain, we are very hot, but very happy as well to be here, to be at the other side of the screen with all of you guys. Thank you so much for being here and for being part of the VegaTrem family. This guitar chat, this show is brought to you by VegaTrem, the best tremolo systems in the world. Please make sure you subscribe, make sure you are already part of the VegaTrem family because we have very nice and beautiful perks just for being part of the VegaTrem family. Make sure you're subscribed and make sure you comment, you say hello, you say, hey, I like your trams, hey, I like being part of this community. And only by doing so, you're gonna be eligible to enter our t-shirt giveaway, our wonderful VegaTrem swag, VegaTrem t-shirts. You can win one of those just by, typing a comment in any of our broadcasts. And now I'm going to say the name of last show's winner. His name is Francisco Cabero. Francisco, congratulations. Enhorabuena, Francisco. We're going to get in touch with you, send you one of these wonderful VegaTrem t-shirts to your place. Also, we have a discount code that just by typing the code, whenever you go to our website, you're gonna get a 15% off. But you have to be fast because you will have 1 week right after the broadcast of this show. 1 whole week. And the code, it's gonna be displayed here at the bottom side of the screen at any moment of the show. So yeah, please be aware and you can get a 15% off in any of your purchases, which is great. We also have the VegaTrem challenge. This thing where you send us the link that we propose every month. And if you are the winner, you're gonna win a brand new VT1. Just like that, it's that easy. Now I'm gonna say the name of last show's winner. Okay, the winner is Rebel Ballad on Instagram. Congratulations, you've been the winner, so we're gonna get in touch with you and send you a brand new VT1. The rest of you guys, you have another opportunity to win one because this is our leak for this next month. Check it out. Okay, and today we have a wonderful interview. We're going to be talking to Mr. Dante Frisiello. Dante is the guitar player for Steve Vai's band. So we're going to learn all the secrets, all the experiences that he's had so far in Mr. Steve Vai's band. You cannot miss this conversation. Let's watch it. Okay, so we're on. Well, this is Guitar Chat, and I'm very happy to introduce my good friend Dante Frisiello. How are you doing, Dante?
Sefo, my man. You said my name so well. Thank you.
Well, with an accent probably, but it sounds Italian, right? I mean,
It
so it's
is.
not.
It is. You
Is
did
it
great.
Italian? You have your roots in Italy?
My dad is first generation American, and his
Okay,
parents were German and Italian. So a good chunk. Yeah.
wonderful. Have you ever been there?
I have, yes, a few times on
Okay,
traveling and also on tour. Always love it, man. It's the best.
wonderful, wonderful. Well, yeah, man. Sometimes I butcher the the names and all that, but I'm trying my best. I think I did okay with yours.
You nailed it, man. You nailed it. Where are
Thank
you
you.
from originally?
I'm from Spain. I am from
You're from
Spain.
Spain.
Yeah,
That's right. Okay, I that would have been my.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Okay,
mean,
cool,
it's
cool.
similar. We have similar ways of talking, Italians and us. We're like
Totally.
pretty culturally very very close. Where it's a pretty
Yeah,
similar society, I would say. So yeah,
yeah.
we like them. I think they like us as well. So, so we're good with that. Okay, man. So first of all, thank you so much for being here. Having a little conversation with us. Mm, for everybody that's watching us, I have to say, we discovered this man a few years back. He was playing with Mr. Steve Vai, as his guitar player. Man, I can't not think of a bigger honor as a guitar player as to be, accepted into Steve Vai's band. So first of all, I want to start by that, man. Tell me a little bit, how did that happen? Because first of all, you did an amazing job that night, but I'm excited, as to know how can you get a gig like that, because you're very young as well. Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, thanks, man. And that every time we okay, of course you're from Spain because I remember that gig. It wasn't that place called the Riviera?
Yeah, the Riviera,
Okay,
that's
yeah,
right.
yeah. Amazing gig. I loved that gig. I love that place. Remember it very clearly, actually. A lot of them you can forget,
Okay.
unfortunately, because there's
Yeah.
so many. They blur together. But the Riviera was a really great night. And I do remember meeting you guys for the first time there. Um, Man, so how I started playing with Steve? Well, the journey there happened through my mentor and really good friend Dave Weiner. Dave
Okay.
played with Steve for over 20 years, and when I was in law school in Washington D.C. Dave lived in Philadelphia, and he had a guitar club, like a jam club.
Yeah.
And I was obviously a fan of Dave's for years before that, from his work with Steve, and I really looked up to him in a variety of ways as a player, as a musician, um, and just an awesome dude that I got to know over the course of probably 3 or 4 years that I lived in DC.
Okay.
Just driving up to Philadelphia to go to his guitar club and just go and jam with him and his band up there, and made a bunch of friends in that guitar community. And it was sort of like an escape for me because I was kind of, in this law environment that I didn't really like, but I was in.
Okay.
And once a month, I would go up and go to this jam and get to study Dave's playing up close and in person, and took some lessons with him, and I would just always be picking his brain about stuff. Just our conversations were oftentimes a very steady flow of questions, and that's
Uh-huh.
because I was trying to just learn and get better, because I wanted to be a musician. I
Yeah.
didn't want to be a lawyer. That I realized that. And of course, I ended up finishing law school and practicing law for 3 years, but before the Steve thing happened. But in that time, I really got to know Dave, and I guess he liked me and wanted to give me opportunities as well. So um, one thing led to another. I started off, I teched for him a couple times at local gigs.
Cool.
And then I put together my first solo band, and we were playing some shows in DC, like open for Tony McAlpine and Virgil Donati on their tours as like a local opener.
Okay.
Opened for Dave a couple times as well in Philly. And then, you know, one thing leads to another, and then he asks me to be his tech on a Steve Vai tour. And that was crazy. And I obviously said yes. And
of course.
I moved back home to my parents' house in Florida, made that my home base for 2 years while I went on the road. And I started off as Dave's tech, and I teched for 6 months in Europe and in America. Extremely hard. It was very, very difficult. I worked really hard in that time doing the tech job, and man, I learned so much about touring, and also got such an appreciation for how hard you have to work on a crew, man. You have to work so hard.
Oh yeah.
You work really, really, really hard, and it's a very difficult job. And I really gained such a deep respect for that profession, that process. And while I was teching, Dave told Steve that he was gonna leave the band and had to move on with his life and pursue other creative endeavors.
Yeah.
And in doing so, he recommended me to Steve as his replacement. And Steve started auditioning me at sound checks, and also at shows, I would step in and play a song.
Okay.
And as a tech, you know, I'd come in and play a song and get off. And that happened for a while until eventually, you know, I got the thumbs up, and Dave left the band at the end of 2022. And then in 2023, we toured basically the entire year. And that's when I started playing.
Wow, man, that's.
And I actually think that show in the Riviera was probably one of my first shows playing, because it was on a European leg that we did that year. Because Scout was there. Scout was there. It absolutely was my first tour playing.
Okay.
It would have been one of my first shows, I think.
Wow. So you were the new guy in the
I was
band,
the new
right?
guy. Yeah. So that's how it happened, man. That was my journey there. Dave, you know, gave me the opportunities, and I just showed up as prepared as I could be and knew all the music. And
so you already knew everything before you started playing for the band. I mean, I'm pretty sure you were very familiar with the music because of the tech thing, right? You were teching already for them. So
I showed up to my first day. Sorry, lag for a second. I showed up for my first day as a tech, and I already knew the whole set list.
Wonderful.
And yeah, because, you know, Dave and I talked a lot. We were talking on sort of a daily basis during the rehearsal period and in the lead up to the rehearsal period. And you know, I you know, been playing and learning Steve's songs over the years, of course, as every guitar player should learn.
Exactly.
But what happened is, you know, once Dave got the set list from Steve, and I had the set list as well, I just transcribed everything. I transcribed all the rhythm parts. And when Dave decided to leave the band and told me and made it clear that he was going to recommend me and that it was a possibility that it could happen, then we just sort of we shedded things a little bit together. He would, you know, he corrected some of my transcriptions or showed me, he's like, you know, that's not totally right. Steve showed me how to play it. It's like this. And, you know, so I would file that away. And funny thing about Steve is he loves to both change things and not change things. So on
Okay.
my first actual audition was in Germany, and we played the song Zeus in Chains at a sound check, and played the song. And then, you know, he turns to me and doesn't say, well, you know, he gave me like a you know, good
Thumbs
look.
up, something
Yeah,
like that.
and then he turns to me, and then he just starts playing the rhythm part that I just played,
Okay.
and doesn't say anything. Just starts playing the rhythm part, and I'm watching, and I realized, oh, okay, he's showing me exactly what he wants me to play, and I did just play it, but now he's playing it, and he starts changing little things.
Okay.
And you know, it's like a 5.5-minute song,
Yeah.
and in about 45 seconds, he goes through my parts, the rhythm parts, and there must have been 20 changes. I mean, there must have been so many little chords that had a slightly different note, or
Yeah.
and I'm just like, in my mind, I'm watching him go, and I'm just thinking, okay, I got to change that. Got to change that. And I'm just making this mental checklist of
Yeah.
all the things that he just changed.
Uh-huh.
And then we played the song again, and I put all those changes in the first time.
Wow.
And then he looked over at me with like a good nod of approval after that. And that was the first true test.
Yeah. So he was testing you. Maybe you were not really testing you just by doing that, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I gathered pretty quickly that that was the challenge, was to say, hey, how quickly can you take changes? Because he doesn't like to change the set list, but he does like to change parts and tweak things. And a lot of times, you know, he's so in the moment. He's very, 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 very present. So he might be playing it, and he may or may not remember how it was recorded, or he will.
Yeah.
But he will get conviction about what the part should be in the moment, and like that's part of his talent, is that he is super present, and he gets really strong convictions in the present about the idea.
Yeah.
And that's the challenge of working with him, is, you know, to keep up with that. You know, it's like, if you can't keep up with that, then you can't do the job. If you can't keep up with that, then you can probably do the job. That's the challenge. So yeah, that's how I came to learn all the parts.
Man, that is wonderful. If I were you in that situation, I would be so, so stressed out, and when we saw you guys playing, in Madrid at the Riviera, we really enjoyed it very, very, very much. I remember we came earlier, to the meet and greet. We were talking to him and all that. And then I got the opportunity to talk to you as well, at the sound check. I don't know if you remember this. We also talked to Scout. That's his name, right? Scout. Yeah. And all the people there, you guys looked like a very happy family. I know touring is hard, it's very complicated, but one thing that I mean, of course, Steve, he's been doing this for years and years. You're much younger. I have to ask, like, for instance, when you're touring, I know how it is. You spend a lot of time without sleeping properly, without eating properly, because traveling is very hard. Especially when you have to take flights and things like that. But playing such complicated music, because for me, seems like it's a very, very complicated music. How do you keep up with, the level of focus that you need to have while you're on tour? For me, it's very, very difficult, man. How do you do that?
Wow, that's a great question. Well, there's a few things, I think. The first and the most important thing, and this is really the most correct answer, is preparation. If you really take ownership of mastering those parts, whatever they are, then there, that is kind of the job. Like the job is like learning all the music and being able to play it. And then from that point, you're basically just getting paid to travel. Like then the work becomes traveling.
Yeah.
Because once you've got it in your fingers, and in your head, it's not going to go anywhere as long as you stay sharp with the shit. And also reviewing. I did this a lot on my first couple of tours. We'd finish the show, and 2.5 hour show. It is a lot of music.
Oh yeah.
So 2.5 hour show, get done, and then it's time to. Then you have to have some unwind time, and a lot of times I would try to just not think about anything that just happened for like 10 minutes and just we always would go shoot the shit in the green room after for a few minutes. And then, you got to pack your stuff up and everything. But always on those first couple tours, I had a journal. Is it around? It's I just moved, so I still have some things packed up.
Okay, no problem.
But yeah, that's why my room has like absolutely nothing. It looks so plain.
Yeah, like mine.
No, you got lights and everything. It looks great.
Thank you.
I got lights, but they're not even plugged in.
Okay.
I had a journal, and
okay.
I would a lot of times hop in the shower and forget about all the show, and then I would start to think about what the mistakes were that I made. And also what were the good parts, things that I felt like I really nailed. And then I would sit down with my journal, and I would jot down anywhere from 2 or 3 sentences to a couple pages of of like, I messed up this harmony. I messed up this part. When you're improvising over this section, you need to, try and experiment with this. And a lot of this stuff was like mental, not so much. There is a tracking of mistakes, and then you can go and say, okay, I'm going to practice that tomorrow in the afternoon. Like I'm going to run that song 3 or 4 times, and I'm going to really lock into memorizing the fret pattern, because that's how I really work. I don't really think about notes. I think about visual patterns and memorizing visual patterns. So, and musical patterns, obviously, but you review your mistakes, you keep track, you keep a journal is the best thing. You go on the road, get a new journal for every tour, and just fill it up with thoughts and ideas and experiences and things that you're practicing and things that you're learning. And that's all the GOATs have done that. Pat Metheny, Guthrie, I read in his book that he has a practice journal. Steve, of course, has, I talked to him about this, and he just laughed because of how many journals he's filled with, practice and show thoughts. And it really helps solidify fixing things you want to fix and developing your mental state about your playing. So, the obvious things with touring are staying healthy and trying to take care of yourself. But when it comes to the playing side of things, I really think a journal and a debrief is really good. And also just a pre-show briefing. Like you can whip that journal out again. 30 minutes, hour before the show or whatever, as you're getting dressed and getting in that headspace. And, you just grab a guitar and just run those couple of mistake parts a few times. And then eventually after a couple months of that, I don't even need to keep the journal because I've got it locked in, and I may make a mistake still here. I mean, of course I do. You still make mistakes. It still happens.
Of course. Yeah, you're human. Everybody makes mistakes.
It also comes to a point where, you can only perfect it so much. And once you feel like you're up and running at the level you want to be, then it's all about enjoying the experience and kind of laughing the mistakes off as they happen. So there was a curve, and being a new guy and sort of untested. I've never Steve Vai tours as a tech was my first time being on the road. I played in tons of bands and recordings and made records, but I had never been on the road before. So that was an experience I took really seriously with regard to making sure I could do the job and really lock in. But once I got really comfortable with the music and everything, and then I eased up a little bit, and I kind of just tried to enjoy the experience. And my memories of the later shows, like when we did G3 and Satch Vai in 2024, my memories of those are like way more about the experience than the studying. And we had a much shorter set. We only played for 45 minutes or 40 minutes. And I didn't have a solo. I didn't have the trading with Steve stuff. So it was easier. I could really go into autopilot on that music. But anyway, it's a spectrum, but I do really recommend the journal. That's a big help.
Man, that's a great idea. And it's the first time that I hear about it, you know, because I mean, I've been touring for a long time myself, you know. I'm also a touring musician, but it's very, very, very interesting, you know, because and you're totally right. You forget a lot of details, you know, when you go back home, you come back to your normal routine, day-to-day routine, you know. And you know what? I'm gonna take that advice, you know, and I'll use it for sure. It's wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
I also wanted to ask you about your guitars, your gear, because that day I saw you were using a Bassi concept, Larada guitar. It sounded amazing. You know, I like those guitars very much because they seem to me they're very ergonomic. Is that are you still using those guitars normally?
Yeah. I'm experimenting. A Bassi does not. They only make one triple single coil guitar, and I'm experimenting with single coils for all three pickups right now. And I'm really enjoying that. So I've been playing a bunch of different stuff lately. Like I got a new Strat and a Charvel SSS guitar. But yeah, man. I mean, I'm an Bassi artist, and the guitars are pretty incredible. They are very ergonomic, but they're not annoyingly ergonomic. They're still the body shape. I mean, like the body shape from here to here is a Gibson Les Paul that's been a little stretched out. Like this cutaway, that is like the exact cutaway of a Les Paul, basically. And the single cut up here, I mean, it's like you took a Les Paul and you stretched it. You pulled this forward and you pulled this back.
I see it.
And you know, the Les Pauls are the singular coolest guitar of all time. I will absolutely die on that hill that the Gibson Les Paul is the coolest guitar of all time. So what I love about these is that they sort of like fighter jet up the concept of the Les Paul. And the neck profile is, you know, really suits me. I really like it. It's kind of got the flat thing that Ibanez has, but it's a little bit thicker. Which I find I really like a slightly thicker neck. I have big hands. So it's easier for me to have a little bit more material in the hand. And of course, the Fishman, I mean, the Fishman Fluents are the best pickups in the history of electric guitar. They are the coolest, most groundbreaking technology, and they are already taking over the world. But like, I don't know, man. They're just, you give them another 10 or 15 years on those things, and it's over. There's no reason to play a passive pickup anymore because they can literally recreate perfectly any passive sound every single time in production. There's no black magic of like, oh, you have to wind it, you know, 2,000 times with this wire and then hope it sounds good. Like there's no hoping with the Fluence technology. It's designed to be completely able to be perfectly replicated with every single unit. So, you know, but I digress about Fishman. I could go on about Fishman.
It's all right.
But Yeah, the Abbasis are awesome, man. I really dig them. They're a cool combination of old school and new school in my experience with them. I also have a double cut, the green one. I really like that one's super nice.
Okay.
Yeah, man, they're amazing guitars, and you know, they have a great sound and a great feel, and been very pleased playing them. They're really awesome. And you know, I'm experimenting with you know, single coil stuff as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, they're really they're really slick. They're really slick.
Cool. Cool. Pretty nice. What were you playing before you started using the Abasi guitars?
Before I started playing the Abbasis, you know, Abasi is the first company I've ever been an artist of. I haven't
Okay.
ever been an artist with any other companies before that. So I played all kinds of stuff. I played, you know, I played Ibanez. I do still love Ibanez. I had a Kiesel, which I still have, that I really
Okay.
like. That
Uh-huh.
has a very warm, thick sound. It sounds like a Les Paul. It has a big Les Paul type of sound, which you know, I really like having that
Okay.
available. But it's a 7-string, so it's
Got it. Got
really
it.
cool. That one,
Yeah.
I'll never sell that guitar. I love the way it sounds.
Yeah.
You know, it was with of course, with passive pickups are a dice roll, but on top of that, you know, a manufacturer like Kiesel, they have so many options and so
Oh
many
yeah.
things. It is also a bit of a dice roll. Like, I've played some that are not good. I've played some that are amazing, and I got
Mhm.
lucky with mine. It's really good. So like, I play that a lot. Use that on my band's first record.
Mhm.
Flying Formation's first record, Physical Architecture, is basically all that Kiesel. Um,
Wow, that's cool,
yeah,
man.
yeah. So I do like that guitar a lot. I got a Telly that I wrote a bunch of my early material on.
Mhm.
But yeah, you know, it's kind of just a a mishmash of things guitar wise.
Do you like, in terms of just playing, writing music, practicing? Because I know you're, I mean, you play rock or instrumental rock, or I could also call it progressive instrumental music,
Hmm.
if you don't mind the label.
Sure.
But do you also like other, like more rootsy kind of music, like blues, country, things like that? Do you enjoy listening to that or practicing that, or other styles of music, or even jazz? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I actually listen to um, almost exclusively electronic and orchestral music, like almost
Cool.
exclusively. The
Really?
Yeah, like
Wow.
I at home or
Yeah.
living my life or whatever, 99 out of 100 times I will not put on a record that is rock. The only time I do that is when I want to listen to Rush. Because
Wonderful.
Rush is in its own fucking untouchable category of being the greatest band
Oh
to ever
yeah.
exist. So it's like, I either want to listen to Rush
Yeah.
or I want to listen to um, electronic music and orchestral music. I love electronic music. I love all kinds. The chill. I love EDM. I love raves. I like um, and so cool. There's DJs are coming out and starting to play guitar now. There's my boy Sam Trivecta,
Okay. Okay.
uh,
Okay.
uh, and then Sullivan King as well. Those guys are Keaton. Man, those guys they're killing it, and they're DJing and playing guitar, and it's super cool. And I love that. I love that. Like, maybe in another life I would do something like that. Um,
That's
and
awesome.
I've been
Happy.
I work on my electronic music production a lot. So I'm really into synths and sound design. Like, that
Okay.
is a serious passion of mine. And as a listener,
Uh-huh.
for me, like I said, I do like rock, and my band, I mean, shit, we're turning into a rock band. Like, we are turning into a very rock forward
Uh-huh.
band. And I think when I put the guitar in my hands, I can't help but just be a rock player. That's
Of course, yeah.
kind of where I live.
Yeah.
I don't really play much country or blues. I did learn a lot of blues vocabulary when I started. So
Okay.
I would say like Gary Moore, massive early influence. And he's a
Man.
cool one because he's sort of half rock, half blues, you know.
That's right. That's right.
I spent so many hours playing Still Got the Blues. And I dare you to find a more emotional song on coming out of any band or any artist. You know, that is like the tippity top of emotions for me. The, you know, the bending, the intonation, the vibrato, that is, you know, that was a huge influence on me. So it's sort of like, you know, rock player, you know, metal. I like the attitude of some metal, and I like, you know, I like some stuff that I hear. I do enjoy the heaviness stuff, but man, small doses, man. Like
I got it.
small doses. Like I can't get through a metal album. I just can't.
Yeah.
I could get through, you know, in the gym, maybe, you know, that's really the only time I could put on a metal record and actually get through it. And you know, bro country sucks. Like that stuff's terrible.
Yeah, I agree. That
stuff's terrible.
Yeah.
But I do, you know, if I encounter like, you know, certain country that is, you know, I don't know if authentic is the right word, but more musical. I enjoy it, and it's funny. Every once in a while, I will use a little country phrase or something. But I did play in a folk band.
Oh, cool.
Steve, I played in a folk band, and that's when I got my telly for that gig, and that was with my buddy Eli Lev, who's still out there making music and touring. And I loved playing with Eli. It was really fun. And I had to learn a whole bunch of vocabulary and you know, lots of inversion stuff and lots of hybrid stuff with chords and it's a totally different style of phrasing. So I learned some of that along the way, but my heart is in electronic music, orchestral music, video game scores, you know. Yeah.
Wonderful, man. I'm very glad to learn that about you, you know, because I always am curious whenever I talk to another guitar player, you know, what's the non-guitar music they go for, you know, and that's pretty cool. You know, electronic music, I think it goes a long way, and it's very, very interesting. Some people, you know, that are not very into that can overlook that sometimes, you know, but I think it's a wide world, and it's totally worth it, you know, to give it a shot, to listen and to learn a little bit. It's wonderful.
Dude, the thing about EDM that people don't understand is that in 2025, electronic dance music is what rock was in the 80s.
That's right.
That is rock now. Like that is the attitude of rock. Like the parties, the atmosphere, the outfits, the energy, the vibe. Like rock, what rock was in the 80s is what EDM is now. EDM is the energetic celebration of life genre. You know, like that from my little lens of the world, right? Like whatever, you can disagree, but like I don't feel that energy coming out of pop music. I don't really feel that energy coming out of a lot of stuff, but EDM has that, like, you know, I mean, you just can't go to a rave and have a bad time. You just can't. It's just so much fun. It's so much fun, you know? So yeah, I'm you know, I'm a rave bro, like whatever. I don't care.
That's cool, man. Yeah,
rave is where I connect with the energy of rock live, because it's hard to find. There aren't really a lot of rock bands. There are rock festivals and there are some rock bands, but most of the guitar bands are super heavy. Like
Yeah.
I would not enjoy a Meshuggah show personally.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool, but like after 10 minutes, I'm sort of like, okay, this is not holding my interest. You know, I don't.
Yes.
Whereas like Slipknot, you ever been to a Slipknot show?
No, no, I have a like a
Slipknot
big,
is incredible. That's a band that's keeping rock alive. That's
Okay.
a great rock band. And you know, it's metal, but
Yes.
it's got a lot of rock attitude.
It's got melodies as well, you know, it has other things as well, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So like I love that. I love Slipknot as much as I love my raves.
wonderful, man. It's always a good thing to be open, you know. It's
Yeah.
always it's that never hurts. That's always something very, very cool. Very cool. Tell me about your future projects, man. What are you working on right now?
Well, my band Fly in Formation just wrapped up demoing a 10-song full-length album. So it's
Okay.
going to be our first full-length album, our debut full-length. And we are experimenting with a lot of things, including vocals.
Oh, cool.
So we have 10 tracks. 9 of them were written with vocals in mind. So
Okay.
we would really like to, basically, if I had to describe the music to you, it sounds like Rush, Porcupine Tree, and the Foo Fighters had a baby.
Cool.
So there's a lot of sad, heavy, dark moments which come more so from Reese, our other stringed instrument player, and I say that because he plays bass and guitar.
Yes, I know.
He is a very much a Porcupine Tree, leprous, deer hunter. Like he's into like sort of the slightly darker side of that metal world, but still not like heavy metal. And then, you know, I'm the really romantic, poetic, Rush lover, textures, chords. You know, Alex Lifeson's the king of the electric guitar, and the textures and the tones and the suspended chords and the you know, giant clean chords in a chorus for whatever reason, like just because you can. Like, you know, that is that's my vibe. And then when we get together, there's just this energy, like there's just this up tempo energy that just kind of reminds me of the Foo Fighters. And we end up writing a lot of these parts that are really strummy because I just love to strum, you know, in a band. Like a band should just be all about like da 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 da, you know, like I just want to strum, give me a rhythmic motif. And then our drummer Nathan, you know, Nathan is like, he's a savant. He is on a planet of his own, and he is a rhythmic genius. And so Reese and I are sort of earing out these guitar parts that are, you know, each one of us combined. And then Nathan comes in and he's like, well, what if we put it in 11 and then you put it in 13 and you put the left foot in 5? And like, he's just like, he writes crazy shit. And then we all come together. And when we come together, we feed off of each other's ideas really in just such an exciting way. And it feels like it's a band, man. Like it's a band. I listen to this music now and I go, dude, there's no way any one of us could have made this alone. Like it only exists when we're together. So that's really cool. I'm very excited about Fly in Formation. So that's project number 1. And then project number 2 is just producing my own electronic music. That's really what I'm in at home is making EDM and, you know, bass music, melodic bass music, drum and bass is kind of really where my ear goes. I love dubstep as well. And I love house music, but I really, you know, dubstep is fun. House music is fun, but I really love melodic bass and I really love drum and bass. Drum and bass especially seems to be the tempo that my body wants to move at. 165 to 175. That's me, you know, like that's the tempo I like. Everybody has their own tempos, you know.
That's so
So
cool.
that's what I'm working on, and playing guitar, of course. And there's some other things that I wouldn't want to talk about publicly that I'm working on,
Okay.
that I will reveal when the time comes. But I'll just say,
Yeah.
playing lots of instruments. I'm working on lots of instruments right
Oh,
now.
that's wonderful.
Yeah, yeah.
String instruments, all of them or not? Or some
Maybe
of them?
not. Maybe not.
Okay, maybe not.
Maybe not.
Okay, well, we're gonna have to, we're gonna have to stay aware. I
Yeah.
have to stay put. So by the time you drop the album of your band, Flying Formation, and also for the electronic music stuff,
Thanks.
we're gonna keep an eye on you for sure.
Thank
Because
you.
first of all, you're a phenomenal musician. We discovered you with Steve, but I'm glad that you're also doing your own thing, and we're gonna be aware of that. And I'm gonna leave here at the end of this. I mean, at the description of this video, I'm gonna leave for all your social media, if you're okay with that.
Oh,
So
please.
everybody can discover what you're up to.
Thanks, man.
And man, thank you so much, Dante, for doing this. It's been a pleasure, a real pleasure. And hopefully we'll see each other again at NAMM Show 2026. Are you going to be there?
Yeah, I mean, shit, it's already June. We're already halfway there.
Yeah.
I have no idea, but
Yeah.
hopefully I see you again soon, man.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. Well, thank you very much, Dante. This has been Guitar Chats. So yeah, till next time, you guys be happy, be safe, and play a lot your guitar.
Cheers, man. Thank you.